Hey there, this is Brandon with Marquette Airguns. I'm coming to you today with my first upload to my new YouTube channel just to talk about basically what I'll be doing here on Marquette Airguns YouTube channel. And first of all, this is just a hobby of mine that I really enjoy. I got into shooting air guns pretty young. I got my first Crossman, I believe it was 7 or 8 years old. And was taught marksmanship through using that over the years, and then getting into hunting when I was a teenager. And fast forward to now in my 30s here, living back in my hometown, I've had the opportunity to start getting back into airgun shooting in the last year or so, and I've been just having a blast with it. Really found that I really enjoy target shooting and practicing marksmanship. And some of the new air pistols that are out there, even though they're far more realistic than they were when I was a kid, they get touted as not real guns, but we have the functions and the feel of real guns that we can practice our grips, we can practice some aspects of recoil, shot placement, how to line up sights, and with the rifles, how to work with scopes, different types of scopes, learning how to adjust on the fly and really get comfortable with making adjustments in your scope and in your accuracy. And I think that's just a great, inexpensive way to step up your game if you're someone like me who is getting back into hunting and doing it as an adult, where I have property and I have deer and different, deer and birds and things that I really would like to start harvesting and hunting in my spare time. And I thought it'd be a great thing to, work on some marksmanship through working with air guns. And it just kind of snowballed a little bit into, I've been having a blast with air guns, and I think they're a little bit more of a hobby than hunting for me at the moment. But again, it's all part of the origins of BB guns and air guns. Is they were designed as a stepping stone to get people from, to get people up, like the Scouts. Daisy had the Red Ryder, they had a small version, they had a bigger version, and then they had an actual .22 rifle, and that was kind of the line they sold. And it was sort of a system for getting people marksmanship and weapons handling skills without handing a young kid, a loaded gun. So yeah, that's I'm here to just do some target shooting and talk about some of the guns that I have and the new ones that I obviously will be coming in. Hopefully not too many of them, because we've already got quite a few here. And even going back to my first, I still have my first 2 Crossman air rifles. I've got the variable pump and the 12-gram CO2 powered pistol that I got when I was maybe early teens, maybe a little younger. I actually have my original Powermaster 66 that I got a ton of years ago. The BB door has seen better days, so we got a nice little chunk of leather snapped on, and we lost a little front part of the pump. But these variable pumps with their BB reservoirs, you can go out shooting all day, and then if you're doing some pest control like we did a lot when I was younger, you can drop in your .177 pellets and shoot those as well. And I think this one even gets up to probably around 700 feet per second at 10 pumps, somewhere in there. It really slapped. It was pretty cool to have as a kid. I used to shoot mainly iron sights on it, but I've got this little Gamma scope. It came with another one of my break barrel rifles, and yeah, I pull this thing up at the target every once in a while. It still functions pretty darn well. And this is a gun that has hardly been maintenance. And like I said, I'm into this for fun. I'm not a super crazy technical about it, but I'm anxious to learn more and bring more of those skills to some of the newer guns that I have, and keeping them functioning and fun on the range. So this is cool. I've had this for about 28 years. Yeah, and it still shoots. And I haven't really dived into getting parts for this, but we also have the 1008 repeater Crossman. This is a 12-gram CO2 double action, and really cool when this first came out. This is a semi-automatic with I believe an 8-shot rotary clip. We've just got it loaded up with some Crosman copper-plated round noses right now. This thing, the seals are a little bad on. It still fires, but not very consistently. So we're gonna try to dig up some stuff on this. But you could kind of see, I believe this is one of the early rotary pistols, at least that I was aware of, and pretty neat little design there. But they've definitely come a long way. Stuffs such as the Mako here, which is a blowback pistol and 20-shot BB. This is CO2 powered semi-automatic, and yeah, it gives you a little bit of recoil on this with this blowback action. Has a little bit more realistic feel. This is a all metal upper, polymer lower, which a lot of handguns are now these days. And yeah, something like this you're definitely not going to break the bank with, but very accurate representation of how to handle. You know, you can bring up with this, get into a good shooting position, learn some consistencies, and just have fun plinking BBs out there at a good target. So one of the guns I was really excited about when I was younger was the American Classic variable pump pistol. And now this has been the first gun that I got that I started to do a little bit of upgrades on. These butt stocks are a pretty standard upgrade, easy to get on there, just 2 screws, slide it on. And the second upgrade on this one is the steel breech that allows you to have this dovetail up top for scope mounts. And yeah, this is another variable pump. And I was just amazed at how accurate this thing was right out of the box. The iron sights on the plastic breech, just nailing it right away. Just my natural instincts of bringing this gun up. And it really kind of shocked me a little bit. So I started to do a little bit more research and found out about the steel breech, got that on there, and was just having a lot of fun with this. This is a 177 caliber, but it had its limitations for target shooting in the fact that it's just kind of slow to keep pumping it up. You know, I mean, in the inside target range, I would, you know, just pump 3 pumps and you'll be able to get stuff downrange pretty accurately, fast, but there's still that cumbersome action of the variable pump that I grew up with. And I remember getting my first piston-driven brake barrel, and it was just like, holy moly, like, you get 1,000 feet per second off of 1 pump. That's amazing. But being that I'm doing this for, you know, target shooting, I want to get a lot of rounds down range. I started to look at the Crosman 2240, which is a very similar pistol. It's been around a little bit longer, and so now we have this one right here, which I've done, I think everything I'm going to do to this one. I'm going to pick up another one to put some different parts on. But yeah, I'll just run down a quick, the couple modifications I've done to this and just talk about how I've improved its target shooting abilities and improved how I use it on the range. So first off, this is driven by the 12-gram CO2 powerless we have here. Really awesome, easy action. You screw this out, pop it in there, give it a nice snug fit. You don't get any leaking with these guns, just a really solid design. And same breech style that the American Classic has. Now this is a 22 caliber as in the 2240, its namesake. And again, you load these one at a time. So already not having to pump, not getting the same amount of feet per second, but we're still over 400 feet per second with a 22 caliber pellet, which is great for target shooting. It'll pop up a steel flip target and spin the little middle one. So that's enough of a report for me to be having fun. And so right away, I was just putting way more lead down range with this thing. Being able to load it, just the breech action, get another round in there and shoot down range. And I started to look around and I was like, I wonder if there's some way to get a multi-shot breech. So the first thing I came up on was the Grav Mag. So to do the run through of this, we have the first, obviously the very first modification is the stock. Just pop the grips off, 2 bolts. There's a little pin and a channel for this to slide through. Get that on there, get it nice and snug. One thing I noticed with the variable pump is that, you know, that pumping action over and over on this can kind of loosen these stocks up. So constantly kind of tightening that down. Haven't experienced that yet with the 2240. So second modification that was done was the addition of the steel breech on this as well. So we get our dovetail up top, which is actually necessary for the grab mag. So we got an Axion tricolor dot reflex sight up here. Really easy to dial in. You know, they give you little flat heads on the back of your caps for your windage and elevation. And great little sight. Yeah. So we got the steel breech on there, and that allows us to put the scope on. And then we put a 14-inch barrel. Now these come standard with a 7-inch barrel and are really accurate, but I wanted to start getting out a little bit farther than these pistols are intended for. So we got the 14-inch barrel, and then we have a muzzle brake on there. And the muzzle brake also gives us an iron sight on the front, which we don't have rear sights on this, so we're going to be using scopes exclusively on this pistol. So not really a big deciding factor by me, but I just wanted to keep that muzzle nice and steady, being that we're target shooting and not doing pest control with this, you know, more interested in accuracy. So we got the muzzle brake on there, and then of course the grab mag, which is really cool, and get in there. So we have a little flip door that we pop the rounds in. You have inserts that are shaped for specific pellets. So this is the Crosman Premier pellets. You flip this little door up once you have it loaded. You can put 1 in the chamber, which I have right now, and 9 in the multi-shot clip here. So as you rack each one, a spring pushes up and allows the gap to drop the next pellet in, and smooth sailing from there. Now this thing is 3D printed, custom made. It's the Grav Mag S9, I think, or 9S, something like that. And yeah, just super cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a couple shots. We'll get the camera set up over at the pellet trap and just see how we can kind of plink up the pellet trap from across the room, or across the basement here at my little indoor shooting spot. And yeah, so again, I'm Brandon. This is Marquette Airguns, and just wanted to get something up on the YouTube channel for anybody who might find me in the area. My goal is to help people locally here in the Upper Peninsula and get into shooting air guns and groups and stuff like that. I've got a range that I'll be setting up, and I'm really excited to take this out to the big range. We've got a couple different properties with a lot of distance, so yeah. Really looking forward to getting into some distance shooting with some of my piston-driven rifles, and we're going to be looking into getting some pre-charged pneumatic rifles in the quiver here soon. I've been looking at way too many, and yeah, I want to pull the trigger on something, no pun intended, sooner than later here, and start seeing what we can do with those. Those are some really cool formats, and actually one of the things we might do with the next build here, I actually have a power-lit eliminator coming that allows you to adapt to a small pre-charged cylinder. So we can actually turn one of these into a pre-charged pneumatic. Yeah, when we get into that, there's some other great YouTube channels that have done way more extensive mods to these things and turn them into really accurate, fun shooting PCP rifles. So I'm going to leave you out with a couple shots on the flip-up target here. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.